Welcome back to CPW Science Edition. This is round 5, where we will be understanding the methods used in a simple experiment, identifying a control in an experiment, identifying similarities between models, and determining the experimental conditions that would produce specified results. We know we'll be successful. We can analyze a data table accurately, determine which variable was being kept the same in an experiment, evaluate what is similar between variables in 3 different experiments, and justify the results of a trial in a specific experiment. Question 1 asks, based on the results of study 3, one could generalize that compared to hand planting of seeds, ant planting of seeds results in which of the following options? So we really want to make sure we're looking at the ant planting of seeds portion of table 3, which is highlighted in yellow. Option A says increased seed germination, so we're going to compare the values from hand planted to ant planted, and it does indeed increase, so the A is an option. B says that it increased seed production per plant, but if we look at the options, it actually goes down, so B is not an option. Option C says that ant planting of seeds decreased plant survival after 1 year. If that was true, I would expect this number to be lower than 9, so C is not an option. And D says decrease plant survival after 2 years, which if that were true, I'd expect this value to be lower than 4, which it's not, so D is not an option, meaning A is the correct answer for question number 1. In question number 2, it asks which of the following variables was controlled in the design of study 2. So here we're going to have to differentiate between a control variable and a control trial. A control variable is also known as a constant variable, or things that are kept the same, while a control trial is something that we use to compare results to ensure its validity. So because it's asking which of the variables was controlled, we're going to be going with our definition of controlled variable, or what was being kept the same. In study number 2, there was no way to make sure the number of ants in each site were the same as it was out in nature. The number of seed dishes in each site is an option because it specifies that 2 seed dishes were placed. So B is a potential answer for us. Option C says the mass of the elaeosome in each seed, which if you look back at study number 1, we know that's different, so that's not an option. And then the type of seeds taken by the ants in each site, that's actually the data we're collecting, and it's very different per site, so D is also not an option, so B is the correct answer for number 2. In question number 3, you're actually comparing variables in all 3 trials, or all 3 experiments. So according to the results of the studies, species A and B were the most similar in which of the following options? So you'll have to look at each study individually to figure out what values are the same. So option A says that seed masses are the same. And looking at my data table, seed mass was measured in study number 1, and those numbers are very different, so A is not an option. B, germination rates on ant waste piles are the same. That's all the way in study number 3. So seeds that germinated, these numbers are also not the same. So B is not an option. The percentages of elaeosome mass per seed are the same. That's back in study number 1. And those 2 values are the same. So this is an option for us. And then D says rates of production of seeds after 1 year are the same. This actually isn't in any data table. This is seeds produced per plant after 2 years, and they're different anyways, so D is not an option, so C is the correct answer for number 3. Question 4 asks, in study 2, site 3 was used to study the what? So in the description of the experiment, it says that both plants were absent in site 3. This qualifier is closest to option B, as it says seed preference of ants in an area in which both plant species were absent. So B is the correct answer for option 4. To recap, our answers for this week's CPW are 1A, 2B, 3C, and 4B. See you next round.